Allow your awareness to gently settle now upon the wondrous, fleeting presence of this body that you inhabit. This intricate, luminous vessel of sensation and form that appears so vividly here and now, as if it were the very essence of who you are. Yet beneath the surface of muscles, bones, and skin, beneath the familiar contours and textures that have come to define your experience, there is a vast, quiet space that remains untouched and entirely free. An open sky of awareness in which this whole magnificent form arises and dissolves like a passing cloud, beautiful but never permanent, always a temporary guest in the boundless expanse of your being. Imagine for a moment that your body is not a cage, not a prison of limitation or suffering, but rather a delicate, shimmering vessel that has been graciously lent to you for this moment, a radiant costume worn by the infinite, a fleeting expression of the unchanging presence that watches all movement without ever being moved itself. Feel the gentle rhythm of breath beneath your attention, the tender rise and fall that carries the subtle reminder that this body, your body, is a living, breathing miracle, alive with an aliveness that is not fixed or owned, but flowing, vibrant, and utterly transient. Notice how the skin holds the coolness of the air, how the heartbeat pulses softly beneath the surface like a quiet drumbeat echoing through a vast cathedral, how the muscles relax and contract in a beautiful dance of form and movement, all of it appearing and disappearing within the endless embrace of awareness. This body is not you, though it is the form through which you are currently known. It is a guest on the stage of consciousness, a passing visitor who will one day take its leave. Yet right now it is here, alive with the shimmering mystery of existence, a living poem written in flesh and spirit. Allow yourself to gently release the deep, habitual grip of identification with this form that has so long felt like the center of your universe, the unshakable me around which all experience orbits. You may have spent countless days and nights believing that this body is your true home, that it contains the essence of your being, that its shape and name, its age and appearance somehow define your worth and place in the cosmos. But now, with a soft and curious heart, begin to notice the subtle spaces between the sensations, the quiet pauses where form seems to dissolve into formlessness, the gentle stillness behind every movement. Sense the aliveness that is not confined to the skin or bones, but that pervades the entire field of presence, that flows freely beyond the boundaries of this temporary shape. This aliveness is you, the radiant, unchanging awareness that witnesses the body, that watches the breath, that knows itself as the silent light behind every changing form. Imagine now the body as a guest house, a wondrous abode that has opened its doors to this moment, inviting you to rest here, to taste the textures and colors of sensation, to walk through the halls of flesh and bone with reverence and awe. This guest house is exquisitely designed, with rooms that hold the delicate fragrance of your memories, corridors lined with the soft echoes of your emotions, windows that open onto vast landscapes of inner and outer worlds. Yet you are not the guest house itself. You are the timeless presence that inhabits it, the open sky beyond the walls, the vast ocean that holds the waves without attachment or judgment. You can honor this body as a sacred guest, caring for it with kindness and respect, while never losing sight of the truth that it is not who you ultimately are. This body will change, age, and eventually dissolve back into the elements, and you, the unchanging awareness, will remain untouched, free, whole, and boundless. Feel now the subtle sensation of energy flowing beneath the surface of the skin, the warmth, the tingling, the quiet pulse of life that animates every cell and fiber. This energy is not confined by the contours of the body. It is a radiant current that courses through you like a river of light, connecting you to the vast, infinite field of existence itself. Notice how this aliveness is not limited to the visible shape, how it extends beyond the edges of form, blending seamlessly into the surrounding air, into the space that holds all things. You are not the body's shape or size, not the label or the story that the mind weaves around this form. You are the living awareness that senses the body's presence, yet is never enclosed by it, the luminous space in which all appearances arise and pass away. Allow the mind's habitual stories about the body, its judgments, comparisons, fears, and desires, to gently soften and fade into the background, like distant echoes carried away by the wind. Notice how the mind often clings to the body as a source of identity, as a fortress of certainty in a world that feels uncertain and ever-changing. But here, in this spacious moment, you can see that this clinging is a choice, a habit that can be loosened and released. You can discover the profound relief that comes from resting as the awareness that simply observes the body without needing to own it, without grasping to define yourself by its appearance or condition. This is a spacious freedom, a deep and quiet liberation from the endless stories that once held you captive. Feel now the gentle unfolding of a new relationship with the body, one that is rooted not in ownership or resistance, but in a tender curiosity and a loving acceptance of its temporary transient nature. The body is a beautiful guest in the house of your being, invited to dance and rest, to express and feel, to live fully in this moment, even as you remember that it is but a passing visitor. This remembering brings a profound peace, a spacious relief, a radiant joy that arises from knowing you are not confined by form, that your true essence flows freely beneath the surface, unbound and eternal. In this knowing, the body becomes a sacred expression of life's unfolding mystery, a precious, temporary appearance shimmering with the light of your infinite, unchanging presence. Allow your awareness now to gently settle upon the vast, mysterious landscape of your body, not as a cage or a limitation, but as a fleeting, shimmering visitor in the boundless expanse of your own presence. Feel the soft, tender pulse beneath the skin, the subtle warmth that quietly hums with every breath, the delicate dance of cells and atoms moving in a silent orchestra of life. This body, with all its contours and textures, its aches and its pleasures, is not the master of your being, but the most exquisite expression of an eternal guest, a transient guest house opening wide its doors to the infinite guest who is you. Sense the profound difference between the form that appears and the awareness that beholds it, recognizing how the body is but a luminous ripple on the vast ocean of consciousness, a temporary shape that waves playfully in the sun, never fixed, never permanent, yet wondrously alive. Notice how you have, for so long, been taught to hold tightly to this form, to identify with the name and shape as if they were the essence of who you are. The world has whispered to you again and again that your body is the solid fortress of your identity, the only true measure of your existence, and that everything else, your thoughts, your feelings, your very self, is trapped inside this fragile vessel. But now, with the soft unfolding of your awareness, you begin to feel the spacious freedom that comes from releasing that constricting grip, from loosening the fingers that clutch so desperately to the transient image in the mirror. You start to glimpse the silent, radiant presence that watches the body, the deep stillness beneath the shifting forms, the unbroken awareness that does not age, does not suffer, and does not die. This presence is your true home, and the body is simply a passing guest, arriving with grace, staying for a time, and then moving on like a gentle breeze passing through a meadow of wildflowers. Imagine your body now as a delicate vessel of light, a shimmering bubble floating on the surface of an endless sea. It moves and changes with the currents of experience, sometimes bright and buoyant, sometimes heavy and dimmed, but always transparent enough to reveal the vast depths beneath. Your identification with this form has been like a thick fog, blurring the clarity of the ocean's surface. But as you breathe and soften into the present moment, that fog begins to lift, revealing the pure, luminous water beneath. You can feel the aliveness that is not confined to the muscles or the skin, but flows freely through every cell, every breath, every heartbeat. A radiant awareness that is not limited by shape or name, but pervades all form effortlessly. In this gentle revelation, you realize that your body is not a prison to escape from or a burden to bear, but a temporary guest, a beloved visitor providing an irreplaceable experience of aliveness, sensation, and presence. Sense now how the body is like a beautiful garment woven from light and shadow, a costume donned for the exquisite play of life's theater. You are not the fabric itself, nor the intricate patterns stitched into it. You are the invisible stage upon which the garment is draped, the silent space in which the dance unfolds. Feel the relief that arises as you allow yourself to step back from the identification with the costume, to see it as a transient appearance rather than the core of your being. This subtle shift in perception is like stepping out of a crowded, noisy room into a vast open field where the air is fresh and the sky is endlessly wide. Here you can breathe freely, unencumbered by the weight of form, knowing that the body's shape is simply a passing shadow cast by the eternal light of your awareness. You are the light, the space, the presence that witnesses all forms come and go without ever being touched or diminished. As you rest in this spacious witnessing, notice the subtle aliveness beneath the surface tension of the form, the gentle warmth in your hands, the soft pulsation in your chest, the quiet rhythm of your breath flowing in and out like the tide. This aliveness is not separate from you. It is the very essence of your being expressing itself through the temporary guest of the body. You are not trapped inside this form. You are the life that animates it, the vastness that holds it with infinite tenderness. With each breath, you can feel this life force rising and falling, a gentle wave of presence that moves effortlessly beneath the shifting landscape of sensation and thought. This profound connection invites you to relax all resistance, to release all attempts at control or ownership, and simply allow the body to be exactly as it is, a miraculous, temporary home for the boundless awareness that you are. Consider now the exquisite impermanence of this guest appearance. Just as the seasons change and the flowers bloom and fade, so too does the body move through cycles of birth, growth, and eventual dissolution. Yet beneath this transience lies a stillness that is untouched by time, a silent witness that watches the dance without ever being swept away. Embrace the freedom that comes from recognizing yourself as that silent witness, the vast sky in which the clouds of form appear and disappear. This recognition is a gentle liberation, a soft unraveling of old attachments that once seemed so necessary for survival. You are not your body, and your body is not you. Rather, you are the eternal presence in which body and mind arise like waves upon the ocean, beautiful and temporary, but never the ocean itself. Feel the deep relief that arises from releasing the need to cling to the body as your only reality, from surrendering the illusion that your true self is bound within these physical limits. Imagine the body now as a guest who has arrived with a gift of sensation, movement, and connection, and who will stay only as long as the invitation remains. This guest does not define you, nor does it confine you. It is a sacred visitor whose presence enriches your experience, but does not imprison your essence. You can lovingly honor this guest, care for it gently, and yet know with absolute certainty that you are not the guest house, but the radiant presence that welcomes all guests with open arms and open heart. In this unfolding spaciousness, allow yourself to rest fully as the awareness beyond form, the vast, unchanging presence that holds the body lightly, like a leaf floating on a river's surface. You are the river itself, the eternal flow of consciousness. while the body is the leaf, briefly carried along in the current, perfectly at ease in its own transient journey. Feel the deep, quiet joy that comes from this recognition, a joy that is not dependent on shape or sensation, but arises naturally from the profound knowing that you are free, whole, and complete beyond all appearances. You have gently loosened the grip of identification with form, and in this gentle loosening, you discover the spacious freedom of your true nature, limitless, radiant, and timeless, resting here and now, perfectly as you are.